All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be talking about functional medicine.
Okay.
And specifically, we're looking at some excerpts about its rising popularity.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that a lot of our listeners are probably interested in.
Oh, sure.
There's I feel like a growing sense that people want healthcare that addresses the root causes of their health issues instead of just, putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms.
Right.
And functional medicine really aims to do that.
Yeah, it really tries to get to the bottom of what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, looking at these excerpts, I'm seeing right away that there is a significant increase in the number of people seeking out functional medicine practitioners.
Right, and I think that really speaks to what you were just saying about people wanting to find the root cause, right? Yeah. Like they're not satisfied with just managing symptoms anymore.
Exactly. And one of the excerpts even mentions a specific statistic. It says there's been a 40% increase just in the last year.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, what kind of people are we talking about here?
Well, I think, if you've been going to a doctor and, maybe you've been dealing with fatigue or digestive issues or something like that for years, and you're not getting any answers.
Right.
They're just giving you medications to manage the symptoms, but they're not actually figuring out what's going on.
Yeah.
You're going to start looking for other options.
Of course.
And so I think a lot of the people who are turning to functional medicine are people who have been let down by conventional medicine in some way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or they're just looking for a different approach, something that's more holistic and personalized.
And that's really what functional medicine is all about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how does it actually work?
Well, one of the things that functional medicine practitioners do is they really spend a lot of time with their patients getting to know their whole story.
Okay.
So, they're not just looking at your symptoms in isolation. They're looking at your health history, your lifestyle, your diet, your stress levels, even your genetics.
Wow.
And they're trying to piece together all of these different factors to see if they can identify any imbalances or dysfunctions that might be contributing to your health problems.
So you're like detectives.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and so it's a very different approach from conventional medicine, which often focuses on treating the symptoms with medication.
Yeah, it's about finding the root cause.
Exactly.
Now, I did notice in one of the excerpts, there was some mention of scientific research that's been done on functional medicine.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there have been a number of studies that have looked at the effectiveness of functional medicine for a variety of conditions. And the results have been really promising.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. For example, there was one study that looked at the use of functional medicine for type 2 diabetes, and it found that the participants who followed a functional medicine approach were able to significantly improve their blood sugar control and reduce their need for medication.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and there have been similar studies that have shown positive results for other conditions like heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and even mental health issues.
So it's really starting to gain some legitimacy in the scientific community.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's really important because, for a long time, functional medicine was seen as kind of like this fringe alternative.
Right.
But now we're starting to see more and more research that's backing up its claims.
And that's great for people who are, looking for different options.
Yeah, for sure.
So with all of this in mind, what do you think? How do you see functional medicine shaping the future of healthcare?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I think it has the potential to really revolutionize the way we approach healthcare. I mean, if we can start to focus on preventing disease and addressing the root causes of illness, instead of just managing symptoms, I think we can create a much healthier society.
Absolutely.
And I think functional medicine is a really important part of that shift.
So for our listeners out there, I mean, what's one thing that you would want them to take away from this conversation?
I think the biggest takeaway is that there are other options out there. If you're not getting the answers you're looking for from conventional medicine, don't be afraid to explore other approaches.
And functional medicine might be one of those approaches.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it for today.
Yeah.
This has been a really fascinating conversation.
I agree.
And I think it's given us a lot to think about in terms of, how we can take control of our own health.
Absolutely.
And seek out the care that we need. Yeah. So for our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.